In the cloud, everything moves at an absolutely blistering pace. New servers, new apps, new data, it all spins up and disappears in minutes. But what about your security? If your security team is still operating on a human timescale, you've got a pretty serious mismatch. So today, we're going to dive into how you can build an automated security team that actually keeps up. Just think about this for a second. Imagine you're a single security guard, and your job is to watch 1,000 different doors, all at the same time. It's just impossible, right? Well, that's exactly the problem security teams are up against in the cloud today. The sheer scale is just way too big for any manual approach. And this really is the heart of the problem. It's not just about guarding 1,000 doors. It's that those doors are constantly moving, changing shape, and multiplying. Trying to manually check every single lock on every single door in an environment that's this dynamic, it's not just hard, it's a completely unwinnable game. This brings us to the single most critical factor here: time. The cloud operates in seconds and minutes. A new threat can pop up and do some serious damage in the time it takes you to go grab a cup of coffee. So if your security response takes hours or even days, you're not just being slow. You are literally leaving the front door wide open for an attack. The response has to move at the speed of the threat, period. Okay, so how do we fix this? Well, it's not about just throwing some new tool at the problem and hoping for the best. The real solution is a systematic, strategic process. An effective response to any incident really follows a clear life cycle to manage that risk from beginning to end. Let's just walk through it real quick. First, you have to constantly identify potential risks out there. Then you detect and pull all those findings into one central place. From there, you have to prioritize what actually matters, right? So you're not chasing down every little minor alert. And then finally, the most important step, you remediate the problem. The real key here is making that last step as fast and as automated as humanly, or maybe I should say, as inhumanly possible. To really bring this whole life cycle to life, we need an automated team that's on the job 24/7. And inside the AWS world, that team is made up of 3 core services that work together in perfect harmony. First up is AWS Security Hub. The best way to think about this is as your central watchtower, your security headquarters. It pulls in all the security alerts from all these different services and different accounts into one single pane of glass. This gives you that unified view we were just talking about, which is absolutely crucial for prioritization. Next, meet Amazon Event Bridge. This is your central dispatcher. So when Security Hub spots something important, it sends out an alert, right? Well, Event Bridge is always listening for that alert. Its whole job is to act like a traffic cop, routing that event to exactly the right place to kick off an automated response. And that brings us to the muscle of the operation, AWS Systems Manager. This is our robotic repair crew. As soon as Event Bridge gives the signal, Systems Manager just springs into action. It uses these pre-written scripts, they're called automation runbooks, which are really just instructions written in code, to execute the actual fix. It does it safely, it does it at scale, and nobody has to log in and click a single button. Okay, theory is great and all, but let's see how this automated team actually works in a real-world scenario. Let's imagine a developer accidentally makes an S3 data bucket public. This is a classic and a very dangerous misconfiguration. All right, let's walk through the timeline. A clock starts ticking. At time 1, Security Hub detects the problem and immediately flags it as a high-priority finding. At time 2, we're talking milliseconds later, that finding is instantly shot over as an event to our dispatcher, Event Bridge. By time 3, Event Bridge has already triggered the correct Systems Manager runbook. And at time 4, that runbook does its thing, automatically shutting off public access to the bucket. It all happens in a flash. And this is what's so brilliant about the speed. The second that threat is detected, the system doesn't just sit there waiting for instructions. It communicates. An alert goes out that basically says, hey, I see the problem and I am already working on the fix. There is 0 human delay. And then, just moments later, you get the follow-up. Boom, problem solved. That vulnerability, the one that could have led to a massive data breach, has already been contained and fixed, probably before anyone on the actual security team even saw the initial alert in their inbox. So, what's the bottom line here? The vulnerability is just gone. The S3 bucket is locked down tight. That little setting to block all public access is now flipped on and the entire incident is resolved in minutes, if not seconds. That right there is the power of automation. So now, let's zoom out for a second and really appreciate the impact of this. This isn't just some neat tech trick. This is a fundamental, game-changing shift in how we approach security in the cloud. I mean, this slide really says it all, doesn't it? On one hand, with a manual response, you're looking at hours, maybe days to fix something, with a pretty high chance of human error. But with automation, we're talking seconds or minutes, and the fix is consistent and reliable every single time. And maybe most importantly, it scales. It doesn't matter if you have 10 accounts or 10,000, the robotic repair crew can handle the load. So let's just quickly recap the key takeaways here. First, you gain incredible speed in shutting down risks. Second, you get the scale to manage security across your entire organization, no matter how big it gets. Third, you get consistency, applying the exact same best practices every single time. And fourth, you get that all-important unified view of your entire security posture. And that really leaves us with one final thought. In an environment that changes by the second, relying on manual security is like, well, it's like bringing a knife to a robot fight. You're just not going to win. The real question isn't if we should automate our security, it's how fast can we get our own robot army built.